I know what you're thinking. Oh boy, another A1 video where he's bagging on master modes. And that's not the truth. Today's video is talking about meta. Meta meaning the optimal way to play in StarCitizen. Things are changing rapidly with 3.23, and I want to give you the business and explain exactly what the meta is in 3.23 moving forward and why it's working the way it is. Which ships are going to give you the best chance at success, and which ships, despite what the media may tell you, are the ones that are not going to be giving you the wins, regardless of how much you like them. Which leads us to today's sponsor, TrackIR5. I've been asked many times throughout my time in StarCitizen, what head tracker am I using? On my head here is the TR5 Pro Clip, which uses little laser reflectors and a camera on top to help track my head movements. Speaking of metas, head tracking in StarCitizen will give you a definitive advantage over people who do not have it. And now, more than ever, in 3.23 moving forward, head tracking becomes so much more important. So in today's video, make sure you're watching how much head movement I'm doing relative to what my ship is actually doing. On top of talking about which ships are meta, we're also going to be talking about which guns are meta and which basic strategies you need to employ to make sure you win the majority of the encounters you have. 3.23 is fast approaching, and it's likely that it'll be live within the next few days. It's going to be a rough patch, and it may be a little bit of 3.18 PTSD coming through, but eventually we'll get through it. Education is the most powerful tool we have to make sure that StarCitizen becomes the game it's meant to be. Not only for the general community, but also for CIG itself. Because what they want and what actually may happen in the game may not line up. And the best way to showcase that is to prove it with focused testing and examples like you'll see here in this video. I don't make the rules, and I didn't pick the meta, but we did find it, and we now have very, I guess you could say, strong proof and evidence from all the streaming and all the fighting that we've done in the last few days to really say with certainty that this indeed will be the meta in 3.23. Hopefully, this will not be a long-lived or extensive meta. But the issues that we can be brought up in this video are stuff that I've said in the past before. But this just showcases more evidence to explain the position and why things may need to be changed on a fundamental level rather than on a tuning level. We do not know how long it'll be before Master Modes gets more updates to its core system, or how much tuning may go into it before now in 4.0. But what we can do is put pressure on CIG by showing just how important this issue really is to the general public. I understand that many of us like all the bells and whistles, the hangar modules, and all the cool stuff that CIG has been coming out with. But ultimately, what we do every day is fly our ships. And so I can't speak for all of you, but I can definitely speak for myself when I say I believe the most important thing about the game is how the ships interact with each other and how they fly, move, and feel. And I feel like more emphasis should be put on this specific thing rather than new features that will be enjoyed and largely be forgotten or moved on to the next shiny feature. The thing that unites us all is ship movement and flight. So let's make sure we give CIG the best information that they can get to make the best flight experience they can. So let's look at the first fight.
Also, you can still do that chain.
Okay, you see Serenity? You see Serenity?
Yeah.
Yep. So let's creep towards them, and I don't want us to burn towards them until we get to around 20. This first test will showcase 6 Hornet Mark IIs and 5 Buccaneers versing off on each other in a free flight setting. This is to simulate an encounter that you could expect to see in the persistent universe. Can Hornets fight against the Buccaneers? Let's take a look. Yeah, everybody on them? Everybody on them? Alright, if you pick one up, then bounce out. Okay, disengage. Pull away, fly away, scatter, scatter. As we can see here in this example, the first Hornet Mark II was killed when the Buccaneers decided to group up and dive bomb one target at a time. This process can be rinsed and repeated over and over and over again without even using nav mode to get in and out. Interceptors have a much higher overall top speed and acceleration, so the ability to control the fight becomes the most important aspect of any dogfight. Let's see what happens to the rest of the Hornets. Let's see here. Next one is going to be hunting for you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Call your distance.
3.7.
3.1.
2.7.
Okay, diving in 3, 2, 1, dive.
Yep.
Dive, dive, dive. Yep, dive, dive, dive. I got them all on me. Perfect. Dive, dive, dive. Yep. Good kill, and then get out, get out, get out, get out. Get out, get out, get out. Get out, get out, get out. Switch to Somatic if you have a chance to dive on Somatic. Get some guns on Somatic here. Yep. Somatic, Somatic, Somatic. His shields are down. Yep. I got him strong. Everyone get on Somatic. Yep. Buccaneer, start diving Somatic. There we go. Keep your speed up. Keep your speed up. Yep. Speed up, speed up, speed up. Let's take another dive on this Hornet
Just
here.
running.
Yep.
Oh, God.
There we go. He's super hurt. Super hurt. Super hurt. Yeah, rocket and deep. You can get on him. Stay on him. Okay. Everyone back on me. Back on me. Back on me. Back on me. Regroup on. Once again, the Buccaneers dive in, and once again, another Mark II Hornet is eliminated from the battle. This brings us to a 5 versus 3. It's not looking good for the Hornets. And, in the commotion, Somatic, one of the Hornets, picked up one of the Buccaneers and tried to tail him, and ended up being pulled flat or linear, because the top speed of the Hornet is so much slower than the Buccaneer, that he ended up just flying linear for all these other Buccaneers to pick up and start filtering in behind him and engaging him. This is because the overall top speeds on fighters are so much lower than Buccaneers. 3, 2, 1, dive.
Yep. Shields down.
Yep, stay on him. If you got to take a second pass, take a second pass. He's probably going to hit his nav mode here soon. If he gets on you, then just string him out and let the guys move in behind him.
Is he down?
He's going to be down soon. Yeah. Okay, good. We got him. We got him. Okay, get in a nav mode and get distance. Get in a nav mode and get distance. Yep, get distance. Yep, just scatter, get in nav mode, get distance. We have run this test about a dozen times, and every single time, the Buccaneers come out on top. We had one round where the Buccaneers took a few losses, but it's mostly due to pilot error and just being unaware of your surroundings and not seeing, ooh, there's a Hornet behind me. The reality is, because there's such a massive difference in philosophy between the interceptors and the fighters, because the tuning ideas between fighters are higher turn rates, higher energy for weapon pools and vice versa, but ultimately what really matters is speed equals life. What's happening is a specific set of ships are allowed to engage and disengage at free will, compared to the fighters, which have no choice but to take a losing fight. The only option fighters have at the moment are switching into navigation mode, which takes about 3 seconds to switch into. But this leads to all kinds of issues, because one, switching into nav mode is, well, how do I say it this way? Boring. What happens is, if you're trying to get a game to a place where combat feels exciting and rewarding, clicking nav mode as soon as you feel like you're in danger takes a lot of the energy, excitement, and I guess you could say skill set out of combat. And so what ends up happening is you have these fights where people loiter around in nav mode, which is essentially the problem we had in the live build of the game, where people would be flying around at high speeds just waiting for an opportunity. But now, without the use of our shields and without the use of our weapons. And so the speed issue hasn't really been solved. On top of that, we have compounding issues with weapons. The meta, very clearly for 323, as you'll see here, is cannons equal damage over distance. High velocity projectiles allow damage to be applied from long ranges. Long ranges equal ships can engage and disengage at will. This example we're going to show you is of a multi-crew Hammerhead crewed by a team of Vanguard Squadron pilots, another PvP organization that happened to be flying the Hammerhead at this time. This was not staged, and it was an organic event in the PU, which best illustrates what's really going to happen to pilots in the persistent universe. And what better way than to see our brothers in Vanguard Squadron defend themselves against the situation, against fighters who know what they're doing. And this was the result.
Okay, I got him. He's a fucking hammerhead. Big kid.
It's important to understand as well that the mantis that's tackling the Hammerhead has its QED dampener applied, which means it can no longer switch into navigation mode and leave the premises. Along with any fighter escorts that shows up, unless the interdictor is dealt with, nobody can enter nav mode.
Oh, I know him.
Oh, really? Oh, he's coming to...
Remember, we can use sniper mode now. Get his turrets.
Yeah.
I don't even have it bound.
There you go. He's fully crew. He's fully crew.
It's gross. Ugh.
It will take forever to kill this guy. It's Vanguard. Vanguard is here.
I'm just getting up all my missiles on him.
Yeah, same.
Do we have an ion or some shit that we can use? I will stay around until I see EM spike, so if he goes into nav mode, I will cut him out basically.
Frogs, what are you in? F8? Yeah, I mean, we have two F8s with cannons.
Oh yeah, you can go. That's it. How many missiles that thing it has?
I'm in here.
Yeah, I'm coming.
I don't have like 48 or something.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, this this fight right now you're doing is very cinematic.
Are you really immersed right now? Alright, I'm taking fire now.
Very,
Very slow movie.
He's trying to get away.
It's still a movie
It will
though.
not
It's a
get
good
Feels
away.
like
movie.
next time on Dragon Ball Z kind of situation.
Next time in Dragon Ball Z,
50 meters to the right.
it's Red Hole. It's Red Hole.
Yeah, I'm knife fighting him.
Dragon Ball Zeta.
Watch out, Tofu.
So
I'm literally knife fighting him.
This is because they buffed hull HP.
There he
right,
goes.
for,
There he goes.
ramming.
Oh, record that. Okay,
Finish him.
blow him up. Blow him up.
Murder
Yep,
them
there
all.
he goes.
Yay!
Good kill, guys.
Multicrew right now suffers from the same problem it did in live. And as we can see here, over the course of about 6 to 7 minutes, a fully crewed Hammerhead was completely unable to defend itself against even a small gang of fighters. And you might say, the F8 Lightning is not a particularly maneuverable nor small fighter, and yet still the Hammerhead was unable to apply damage. This problem can be made even worse in the sense that the Buccaneers and other ships of its kind are even smaller and harder to hit than the F8 Lightning. So if the Hammerhead can't even hit an F8 Lightning, what hope does it have against smaller, more nimble ships? This stems from a fundamental misunderstanding, which I bring up in the previous video, and until we get this solved and resolved, which is a geometric issue, no amount of armor, no amount of tuning can fix this issue. If this was an Inferno engaging at this range, where the Inferno can hit the Hammerhead and the Hammerhead can't return fire, does it really matter if your armor is capable of defending? Size 7 guns will penetrate any armor system that comes out, and so you might defend yourself against size 1 and 2 guns, but against F8 Lightnings and larger? Until we get this solved, multi-crew ships will forever be dead. And that is the reality of the 323 meta. If you fly multi-crew ships in Star Citizen's patch 323, you will lose. It's just a matter of time. Unfortunately, any ship, any category, any ship in terms of fighters or interceptors will be able to easily kite, range, and apply damage to multi-crew ships regardless of what systems they have. And because we still don't have armor yet, even a small Archimedes with size 1 guns can range kite and kill. And now, without our top speeds, it's even easier for ships to do this. So, it may be hard for people to hear, but multi-crew ships on arrival on 323 will be ineffective in any situations that involve PvP. So if you do get pirated, the best option you have is to give up. Because if you try to fight, you will lose, unless you bring fighters yourself. This leads me to my third point here, and third example of the reality of interdiction and solo play in Star Citizen. The reality with interdiction now is you cannot enter navigation mode if an interdiction dampener is applied to you. In this example here, we were doing some interdiction between Hurston and Crusader, and we caught this Mark II Hornet going in between the two. His only option is to engage the interdictor, which has higher top speed and can infinitely kite him, versus multiple shooters. The reality is, no matter how good you are, because our speeds are so constricted, the reality is you just end up dying almost 100% of the time, regardless of skill. In an effort to get fights closer, the speeds have had a knock-on effect, which makes it almost impossible for a solo pilot to defend themselves. We got a live one!
Oh,
It's a hawk!
Oh shit, here we go. Cue the music.
Cue the music. Well, he's dampened and he's snared, so...
Villadara.
Let me know when to pop the EMP.
Wait for it.
Oh, he's in a
Yes.
hawk.
Yeah, he's trying to run.
Come on.
Wait for it, and pop it.
Alright, I popped it.
He's down.
You know, man, that was.
Oh,
This is gonna be.
Dude, they die so much faster now compared to live. What this means going forward is that if you are a solo player or have enjoyed flying around the universe solo, the reality of your survival will be almost zero once there is more than one player attacking you. Dueling has largely taken a massive back seat, and any kind of skill expression through the current flight skills that you have will not make itself known depending on the ship choice you have, and the reality of the low speeds means that any second party or third party engagement that attacks you will mean certain death for you. So, the meta will be 2 is 1, 1 is none. If you are going to go anywhere in the universe, you bring a wingman with you. Another arrow, another interceptor, something, anything, even an aurora. But if you engage by yourself, you are guaranteed to lose, especially if you have more than one person attacking you. In live, this wasn't the case, but because we have such a lower skill ceiling, the reality is you will receive damage regardless of your skill set. So, never, ever fly alone. That's number 1. Number 2, what weapons do I use? Cannons. The only weapon system you need to do from this point forward are cannons. If you're going to take my suggestion, outfit any one of your ships with cannons. Omninskis, level 1, 2, 3, and 4s, whatever you can. Omnis are the best weapons, pound for pound. End of story. The only other weapon system that you might want to consider putting on are the Banu Singe railgun charge shots, because they have 3,000 meters per second, very long range, and very high alpha. They require a little more finesse to use, but if I was going to use any system on a multi-crew ship with a turret, I would fit railguns and I would fit Banu weapons on it because they're the only weapons with the velocity to even attempt to hit engaging fighters that are attacking you. If you have a turret system, you use railguns. End of story. Anything else, and you'll simply be range controlled and kited by anything else in the galaxy. Number 3, the fighter that you're going to use for 323 will be interceptors, predominantly the Buccaneer. The Buccaneer is the best ship, pound for pound. It's terrible at dueling, but it doesn't matter because dueling is dead. Nobody will engage in duels in 323 and be successful if they think they're going to run around and engage multiple targets. Get a buddy, get a friend, fly an interceptor, and use cannons. Those are the 3 things that you must do to receive any kind of success in 323 moving forward. Until we have a fundamental change in how the philosophy of master modes will be balanced, those are the 3 things that you must conform to. If you don't, and think that you can find another better way, I implore you and encourage you to try and experiment to find some other means of metas. But as it stands right now, you fly an interceptor of any class, you fly cannons, and you fly with a partner. If you can do those three things, you are playing the meta.